So this week there was a classic sneak, a surprise movie of an older variety. And I've actually never seen Blade Runner in a cinema, so this was quite nice. It's still an amazing movie on the big screen. This was the final cut because it has the unicorn scene in it and it has the violence and nudity scenes from the European version in it. So it should be the final cut. There was no text that explains which one it was. But it wasn't the original because the original didn't have the unicorn scene and it has a strange happy ending, which isn't very good. Anyway, for anybody who hasn't seen it, short summary of the movie. They're in the far, far future of 2019. And they kind of missed what we have as technology, but okay. And there are replicants, which are basically artificial humans. And because you can't tell the difference between them and humans, and one of them went totally mental and killed a bunch of people, they are not allowed on Earth. So if they come to Earth, a person called a Blade Runner tracks them down and retires them, which means killing them. And basically there are four of these replicas coming to Earth. And the reason is they want to extend their lifespan. Because they have a built-in 4-year lifespan and they just want to live. Which is immediately a very interesting moral concept. They're basically built to die. Which on the one hand is very, very immoral. And on the other hand also kind of the most human you can get. Because we're all kind of like that. Like none of us can choose how and when we come into this world. And we are also built to fail, to die one day. Except that for us it takes a lot longer. But it's interesting. And basically, along the way, he meets Rachel. And turns out that Rachel is also a replicant. But she didn't know. And she has implanted memories. Which is very interesting. Because in the newer versions, it is later implied that Deckard, the main character, is also a replicant. And yes, this was done for the sequel, for the possibility of a sequel, but it's still a great hint. Like, it's not really stated that he is, but there are hints throughout the movie. And basically, in the story, Deckard hunts down the replicants, there's a showdown, and 3 of them die. They get killed, they get retired, and the last one basically chooses to go out in peace. Like, he doesn't choose the time when he goes out because his time is up, but he chooses how to get out, which you can also argue is like the most human thing you can do, to decide on your own terms when to check out. If you just want to watch this movie as a entertaining action noir cyberpunk movie, you can do it. It's very great. The soundtrack and the visuals still hold up. It's brilliant. But if you want to go more into the philosophical, moral discussions, there is a through line of this movie, but the question basically is, what does it mean to be human? What is the line between something artificial and between real life? Like regular life. Because these replicants in the movie, those 4, they are driven by the will to live. Or the will not to die after 4 years, is more exactly. Which I would assume is the most natural thing you can have. Like, every species on this planet is built this way. They don't want to die. They want to live. They want to go on. So it's like they have the drive of a regular life form, but they are not. But then you cannot tell the difference between them. Like, there's some elaborate tests, but Rachel, in this case, it takes like 10 times the amount of question to find it out. And even then it's not really clear. So basically it's this it's very interesting to think about what does it mean to be a human? What is the line? Do these artificial people count as humans? Is their life like human life? Do they have the same value or not? It's really interesting if you want to think about it. If you just want to enjoy the movie, that's totally fine. In the end, you have the second part of the unicorn scene. Basically, Deckard has a dream of a unicorn throughout the movie. And at the end, when he escaped with Rachel, he finds a origami unicorn. This unicorn, or this origami, belongs to a man called Gav. He basically hangs around Deckard a bit, and he always forms these origami. So you know he was there. You know he had the chance to kill Rachel, because that is his job, but he didn't do it, which is interesting in and of itself. And he makes the origami of the one animal, or mythological animal, that Deckard sees. And in the movie we learn that there are replicants who don't know that they're replicants, and they have fake memory implanted, which implies or suggests that Deckard is a replicant, which is very interesting. Of course, if you have seen the sequel, then this is not a very surprising moment. But if you just take this movie in and of itself, the ending, the open ending, is really great. And again, as I said, I know it is just done for the sequel. The original movie didn't have this in him, but it's still great. Even though I've seen this movie, still the time watching this movie was very entertaining. Like, there's no like downtime. Like, there is a time where the movie comes down and shows you the buildings and the world, but that's not really downtime, because you learn about the size of the world and of the atmosphere. So it's not really what I mean with downtime. Now, downtime is things you can cut out the movie and it won't make a difference. With this movie, or this version of the movie, I don't feel there is anything you can cut out. Like, nothing major. Like, maybe it's a second here, a second there, but nothing major. It all flows very nicely. It all fits together. There's not really a giant hole in the story. It all works. It's very well constructed. The characters are all very interesting. Even the small characters have actual characters. They are very unique, and they are just entertaining. The best is Roy, played by Rutger Hauer, and unfortunately this is the second reason the year 2019 is sort of important for this movie. Not only does the movie take place in a fictional 2019, unfortunately the real Rutger Hauer died in 2019, so yeah, that is, I don't know what to call it, but that's unfortunately, and in this year as well. For anyone who likes sci-fi, this is a must watch. Like, there are not many movies who are must watch for genres, but this is one of them. The play with visuals, with real visuals, like the buildings are actually built like miniatures, but they're still real built, and the music and the atmosphere, it's just amazing. It's, yeah, the hairstyles and the clothes are a bit camp, but it's still an amazing movie. So I don't feel like ending this on a very high note, but I will end this with something important. Basically, the most memorable scene from this movie. So if you haven't seen it, you should definitely watch it.
I've seen things you people wouldn't believe. Attack ships on fire off the shoulder of Orion. I watched sea beams glitter in the dark near the 10-house gate. All those moments will be lost in time. like tears in rain. Time to die.